and I'm going to end my entire thing owning a professional soccer team in every country that has one.
Yeah.
When's he getting in the MLS?
I don't
hates
know.
America, maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, join us now, JJ Watt.
Yeah,
Hey, what up? Blah, 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 blah. Wednesdays, here we go.
Wow, he's coming in jacked up.
I like it.
Coming in jacked up. You know, last week you had a nice 2-hour appearance. Was kind of on you.
Too long. Yeah, way too long. On me. Big time. Big time too much. Haha, JJ, big mistake.
Okay. All right. I like the juice that you're coming in with. Obviously, championship week. Hey, championship week. We just had national champion crown on Monday night. Now we're going to have AFC and NFC championships crowning happening on Sunday. What we're talking about here is basically how this year became almost like a defensive year, it felt like. Felt like defenses across the board got better. We started picking teams strictly because of how good their defense was. Now the Houston Texans defense, which obviously you got fired up in a round of playoffs and then chose not to cut a promo for them for their next game, which maybe was the reasoning behind it all. But what the Patriots defense was able to do, what the Broncos are able to do on the defensive side, what the Rams are able to do on the defensive side, what the Seahawks obviously are able to do on the defensive side, feels like it is a defensive run year. And then you look on the other side of that, it's like, well, both MVP quarterbacks still alive as well. What is kind of your synopsis on the state of ball right now? Feels like it's a better defensive unit across the board in the league. Do you agree with that?
I would agree with that. I mean, I think obviously when you're at this stage, you're going to have good defenses involved, but I do think that there's some very strong defense being played, and it's a lot of fun for me to be able to finally see the defenses getting some shine. I mean, the Broncos, Vance Joseph was my DC in Arizona, was also with me at other stops. Seahawks defense, Mike McDaniel, unbelievable. Rams defense, great. Patriots defense played so well against the Texans, unfortunately, for Houston. But yeah, I think it's good to get some defensive shine. I think there's some guys here. There's a lot of underrated players in here. Some guys starting to get the hype that they deserve. Zach Allen, obviously being one, makes first team All-Pro this year, rightfully so for the Broncos. Benito, phenomenal. You got the two inside D tackles for the Seahawks who are awesome and I think completely underrated, even though they are getting a little bit of shine. But a lot of really good players on the defensive side of the ball. Happy that we're putting some light on this.
It does. It felt like it's been a defensive year. Hembo sent us over a stat we just showed a few moments ago. The scoring per game this season through 2 rounds of playoffs is the lowest it's been since 2017. Feels like defenses have done well. Offenses are going to have to adjust because it felt like defenses were adjusting to offense for the past, 10 years. Now it feels like offenses are going to have to adjust to defenses. It's the cyclicality of ball, and it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Also, cyclicality.
We're seeing it. I mean, you're seeing the 3 tight ends. You're seeing a lot more of the big personnel. Offenses bringing in the XL offensive linemen. We went to those. I mean, the conversation's been had many times, but you started to go smaller linebackers and more shell coverages to account for these receiving tight ends, and everybody spreading it out and throwing the ball around. So now as those small linebackers and shells have been implemented, now offenses are going back to heavier personnel and running the ball at them to take advantage of that size. So we're just going to keep twisting ourselves around and around.
You should right round, baby, round. Is that?
I believe that is
Yes,
Flow
it
Rida.
is.
That is the Flow Rida?
Oh, yeah.
Before we dive into more football questions, have you ever been to a Flow Rida show?
No.
Oh, haven't
Good
lived.
feeling. Big fan. Big fan. My house.
He's got 15 of them, Jage. He goes.
Oh, banger after banger, dude.
Yeah, he needs the halftime Super Bowl conversation. I would like to officially announce official flow into the halftime Super Bowl conversation, just strictly because we drove almost an hour to get to this event. Almost an hour. Signed up for 35 minutes. It ended up being 55.
It's Miami football.
Shout out. And even if people in Miami tell you the original time, hey, how long would it take us to get there? 25 minutes. Okay. How long would it take us to get there? 40. What's the actual time? Probably an hour. That's probably going to take you about an hour or so, but it could take you 20. Like if there happens to be nobody else moving in the entire city at the same time as you, there's a chance you get there. So we signed up for a timeless voyage, basically, to get to this particular event. And it was all strictly to watch Flow Rida, just strictly because we hadn't been there. He lived up to the hype. We had Talk up on the stage. Talk was singing with him. Talk delivered as well. He might be on tour. But Flow Rida needs to be in a conversation for going, right round whenever we're talking about the Super Bowl halftime. Okay, and you didn't get to a show for Flo. Let's get into some ball talk now. You just mentioned Vance Joseph, where you played for him. I don't hear his name a lot for any of these head coaching jobs. Has anybody really talked about that?
His name has been out there, but I think they're still alive, so he can't interview or do anything until they're actually done.
Yeah, coach or interviewed or become the bells of the ball for this coaching cycle. Well, Jade, you put out a couple of tweets about the coaching cycle, which is fascinating. Nearly a third of the league is looking for new coaches. Each of the last two MVP winning quarterbacks, one a two-time winner, both in their primes looking for their new head coaches. One of the most historic franchises with only 3 head coaches since '69, also looking for a new one. Didn't mention the MVPs down there for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but certainly a lot of consistency being turned over. You also put out another tweet about, Mike Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Liam Cohen set the bar extremely high in turnovers and turnaround. Liam Cohen is certainly one to look at. It's just like late in the hiring cycle, didn't know if he was going to be able to hire staff. Is Trevor Lawrence a guy? We don't know if he's a guy. And then in 1 year, they turn him into a juggernaut AFC South champions. Now, I ask you this, J.J. Watt, as you look around at the current hirings that have taken place. Got Harbaugh at the New York Football Giants. I thought he did well. Shane introducing him, very interesting.
We had a couple interesting press conferences the last couple of days where it's people that aren't always up there tossing out some stuff that, man, you got to be this.
Yeah, Jage, we will get to Pagula.
Today's been wild.
Yeah, we will get to Pagula for sure
right,
in the
good.
Bills situation. That's certainly another job opening that you certainly talked about there. But let's just talk about the hirings that have happened already. Harbaugh goes to the New York Football Giants. Stefanski goes to Atlanta. Saleh goes to Tennessee. Hafley goes to Miami. When you think about what these hirings are saying, do you think the best guys have gone off the board? And, who are you looking at now to potentially fill these other jobs? Because to your point, Baltimore, gigantic. I mean, that's a gigantic job. Huge. They're supposed to win a Super Bowl last year. That same roster basically going to be there. Josh Allen, supposed to win a Super Bowl. Who's going to be the one that's going to figure that whole thing out? We'll dive into Brandon Beane and Pagula's press conference, which incredible. We need to get Pagula on a microphone all day, every day. Let's get him streaming like he's iShow Speed. Yeah. Let's get him like he's streaming like he's Kai Cenat. I need to hear every thought that comes out of his brain, because if he
in the championship games, because obviously, Harbaugh was going to be up there from the beginning, and you knew that somebody was going to jump on that, and it seemed like them and the Giants were going to line up. But then you start to get into this cycle of okay, well, we don't want to wait because we don't want to lose out on a guy. But we also want to see these coordinators for the championship teams, whether it's Shula, whether it's Kubiak, or whoever it may be, Vance Joseph. So you have to you're playing this dance of bird in the hand, two in the bush type situation. And it's also, I guess the coaches were also playing that a little bit with the Bills situation that pops up after both Harbaugh and Stefanski get their jobs lined up. So now you sit there and you wonder, man, are they pissed they didn't wait? Are they happy? But back to the tweets that I had put out there, I think this year, when you look at the situations that have come up, and I'm talking specifically about the Ravens and the Bills, where you have these guys who are legit, bona fide, already won MVPs in the National Football League, and you look at what Vrabel and Ben Johnson and Liam Cohen, and then a year before Mike McDaniel were able to do with those organizations. Don't get me wrong. Those teams all have quarterbacks that were drafted high, besides the Seahawks. They all have quarterbacks that were drafted high and have potential, no doubt. But none of those quarterbacks have won MVPs. So they're there's nobody out there saying that any of those quarterbacks were on the level that Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson were at that same time last year. So I look at those two jobs and I think you just fired two coaches who did a really good job for a very long time. No, they didn't accomplish that ultimate goal in these last few years with those quarterbacks, but you're not here to rebuild over time. The new coach there needs to win immediately, because it has clearly been proven that what's happened recently isn't good enough. So now it's time for this to turn into a Super Bowl in the next 1 to 2 years, and that is very hard to do.
John Walker, the fourth here. There had been 3 prior. Fodder's fodder. He was John Walker walking around at the beginning saying, there'll be 3 more of me, hopefully 4 or 5. He says, remember now, don't look too far back whenever these teams are absolute ass. Texans 3-13 3 years ago. Patriots 3-14, and then 2-4 4 games last year.
Yeah, 4-13 in the last 2 years.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, a lot of numbers there. You get it. 3 years ago, the Broncos 5-12, Bears 3-14, Rams 5-12. It's like it is crazy how quickly you can turn things around. And then if they were to put the Jags there, you would just say laughing stock for a very long time, even though they have players. And you talk about Liam Cohen going in there, and not only the Duval thing, but the actual convo was he wasn't going to be able to hire enough coaches. Like that, remember that? He wasn't going to be able to field a staff because it was too late and he burned too many bridges and yada, yada, yada. It feels like he did just fine down there, and now everybody else is going to be expecting the same damn thing.
Well, the other tough thing with those teams, though, too, if you put that back up, like all these teams, right? Texans, number 2 overall pick, they get C.J. Stroud. Pats at 3, Drake May. Denver at 11, was it? Or 13 with Bo Nix. Bears, number 1 overall, they get Caleb. And then the Rams, they 3 years ago, I guess they already had Stafford, but still, like, there is the argument you need to have either that top pick or, you go like the Rams and you sell the farm and you bring in even that upgrade from Goff to Stafford was enough to get him over the hump. Like it's very difficult too because all those teams have very good quarterbacks.
Yeah, and if you just go 9-8 or whatever, to your point, you're not going to be able to get up to the to get. That's where the Steelers were kind of living for a long time, which is why Mike Tomlin stepping down is both a breath of fresh air because if they're asked next year, maybe you're able to get a high pick, or maybe a new voice comes in and does its thing. Coach McCarthy, I do believe, getting interview with the Steelers. Very, 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 very real interview with the Steelers today. Coach Mike McCarthy. Obviously, he's a Yinzer. We've enjoyed getting to know him. But, I wonder how Coach McCarthy feels about this particular coaching pool with how many jobs are open. I'm sure he's pretty pumped up. It's like, hey, I got a lot of experience. I got a lot of success. Stepped away from the game for a year. Maybe got to see it from a different angle. And there's a lot of jobs open for Coach McCarthy right now. Pittsburgh would obviously be one I think he would hold very near and dear to his heart as he turns it around. So, old names, new names, they got a lot of jobs still open. And Buffalo, who's going to get that gig? Brandon Beane and Terry Pagula did a press conference today.
They sure did.
Bruce Arians yesterday on our show, and we would like to say Brandon Beane's been very good to us, like very good to us, maybe the nicest GM in all of sport to us. We appreciate Brandon Beane. We like what Brandon Beane does and how he operates. Great golfer, everything about it.
Talk shit.
Yeah, he's a shit talker. Like, we like Brandon Beane as the person. Now, granted, the conversation is certainly warranted to him.
You also like Dan Orlovsky. You got no problem going at him, so you got to have no problem going at your friends. Love it.
Bingo.
Love it.
That's what I'm about to do, yeah. McDermott gets fired. Beane gets promoted. That's a weird turn of, even for us liking him, like that's a weird turn of events to happen when the same outcome happens every year. Yeah, I think you're also kind of intrigued by it. So then Beane and Pagula, owner Terry Pagula, have a press conference, and Pagula takes it upon himself basically to be like, let me set the record straight. There's no power. Brandon Beane didn't come in and say Sean McDermott can't get the job done. That's not. If he was a power play guy, I'd sniff him out. I'd get him out of here. It's like, okay. You're going to continue to talk here and make us believe that you certainly have a clue on what you're doing. Then he continues, he continues just kind of unravel.
But he also didn't pick the draft pick, but it's not a power play. But
Yeah, then things are coming out like, well, actually, Keon Coleman, everybody's saying it's on Brandon Beane. Turns out, Sean McDermott up on table for this guy.
Coaching staff wanted him.
Pagula said, I was actually there. This guy got up on the table and said he wanted Keon Coleman. He guaranteed he'd be good. He said, if he's not good, you can fire me. Now you know. That's why I fired him. That's basically what Pagula did today. It's all on the people that are out of here. I appreciate him going to bat for his guy. Obviously, he just promoted him and everything like that. Then the immediate counter-argument was like, well, which ones did Beane like that didn't work out? That McDermott was maybe like, I don't think that's a good play. Can we get more context on all this? But it is fascinating because Greenberg, and you said this as well, Mike Greenberg puts out a tweet that says, somehow a team that has Josh Allen as the quarterback just made their job less desirable this morning. I don't think that's necessarily true because Josh Allen is an MVP and you get a chance to be his head coach. But it's a fascinating place that you're kind of walking into right now, especially after that presser, JJ.
Any coach looking at these situations, and there's not many that have carte blanche to choose whichever job they want, but any coach looking at situations going in with current GMs who have been there previously. I mean, you look at what happened in New York there. Like obviously the discussion was around, who am I reporting to? How is this whole thing going to work? Who is telling the main boss, the owner, about my performance? I want to be the one talking directly to him. That seems like what the conversation in New York was around, because we see what happens here. When the coach reports to the GM and the GM reports to the owner, well, the person sitting next to the owner in the booth every single game and the person reporting to the owner, generally that information is going to get sifted up a little bit differently than it actually is playing out. So who do you think is going to win that power struggle 90% of the time? It's going to be the person giving the information, because they can give the information they want. So it's not lost on anybody that the GMs stick around a whole lot longer than the head coaches stick around. And if you're a coach looking at situations, I think you can't look at this one any differently, because you still have Josh Allen. But you certainly are like, all right, this guy just got promoted when his coach got fired. What does that mean for my standing already starting out?
If you're a young lad who shouldn't be a head coach, but getting an opportunity to be a head coach, having a GM who like oversees you and kind of decides what's happening, I think you'd be much more likely to do. Yeah. But Harbaugh goes into the Giants, and obviously there was no, hey, it's on paper, but we're collaborative. Shane comes out and says, Harbaugh reads that thing, the contract. Somebody reads it to him, goes, hey, you're going to report to Shane. Shane then reports to the Mara family. Harbaugh goes, I don't think that's how this goes.
No, I'm not.
And John goes, yeah, just change that for sure. And the agent goes, okay, you got it. Agent calls back over to the Giants. Hey, line 4 here, clause 2, it says that Harbaugh reports Shane and Shane reports tomorrow. Yeah, just go ahead and get rid of that. Everything else is good or whatever. And then the Morrow family replies, okay, we'll call Shane to change that, because his team is actually writing up the contract right now. Okay, call Shane. Hey, you need to get rid of the whole Harbaugh's reporting to you thing in there. Oh, that's kind of how this building runs, though, doesn't it? Oh, let me call Harbaugh back. Then that person has to call. So Shane says it's just on paper. It's not that big of a deal. That's just kind of the chain of command. So then the agent doesn't even tell Harbaugh that. He goes, yeah, we're not going to do that, though. Harbaugh's still hanging out. Harbaugh thinks that thing has been removed. We're not going to do it. That goes on for, what, like a day? Yeah. It felt like that took like a day for that to take place. And then inevitably, in the end, Harbaugh's like, am I going up there? And the agent's like, hold. Gets called back. Do we remove that? Yes. Yeah, you're the guy in charge, by the way. Go ahead, go up there. And then he walks up there, and then
what happened in Jacksonville last year too? Is it not? I remember that correctly, right? Wasn't that a Jacksonville type thing last year?
Well, the Jacksonville thing was Cohen Wentz didn't take the job because allegedly he wanted Trent Baalke out. Then they fire Trent Baalke. Cohen comes in. Gladstone gets hired.
Remember Kahn, I believe, in an interview with Baalke on the call.
Yes.
Goes, I will certainly move on from that guy.
Yeah.
In the Zoom call, like it was the Brady Bunch.
We need more owner press conferences is what we need.
That's what we were trying to do to Bisciotti, like making that song, like, bro, we need you out here.
Do we have a song for
Pagula?
Yeah.
You're gonna lose her with Pagula. I mean, that was just the first.
Pipe down, Pagula.
Yeah, I mean, pipe down. Yeah, I mean, we could probably make a couple for Pagula there. But it is, because all of these coaches, all you hear them talk about is alignment. I want alignment. I want alignment at the top with the GM and with me. And at quarterback, too, that'd be great. If we could just have alignment at the top, that's all we really care about. All the people that have been head coaches before and have been fired, and then they go on to be a head coach again. Hey, why did it not work at the first spot? Well, we didn't really. Second spot, why'd you get alignment? Everybody was together. So
that is such a it's a thing that you would think as a fan of sports is the most obvious thing in the world. We are all doing whatever it takes to get our organization the best possible situation at all times. People just don't understand, or I mean, the fact that everybody is covering their own ass at all times. You have to look at when contracts are coming up for GMs, for coaches, what needs to happen for them to keep that job into their next contract, how they can spin it or manipulate it or make a certain move so that they can secure that next contract. It might not be what's best for the team right now, but it's what makes it looks like you're doing what's best for the team at that moment. There's a lot of that going on.
Has to appear as if it's good for the team, and also has to definitely be great for my ass. That is not just a football thing either. Almost has become a societal issue as we lack accountability amongst humans. But that is not for me to forecast about, because I'm a doofus who potentially falls in the same problem, because I'm going to be looking out for us at all times, boys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, just know that. Let's talk about a hiring that happened that got me jacked up, JH.
Special teams.
Shout out Danny Smith, just got the job down there at Tampa Bay.
Yeah,
Love that he got hired.
That's right.
We're going to talk about a good time to bring up great Inzer, Danny Smith, getting a job down there at Tampa Bay. How old is Danny Smith?
72 years old.
That's what I'm talking about. Acts like he's 35, though. He'll be down there for the next 20 years. They move on from Coach Tom Moore, who retires. They bring in Danny Smith. Need a senior with a lot of juice on the roster. So I appreciate them doing that down there in Tampa. I think there was a couple teams that wanted to hire Danny as their special teams coordinator. So Tampa Bay getting him, obviously, great news. But that was not what I was referring to. What I was referring to was something that's going to boost the ball as a whole next year. Harbaugh has a new human he's going to have to talk about and describe out there in L.A. Go ahead, D-Bud.
Yeah, it's about a couple of teams wanting this guy. I believe he removed himself from consideration for the Browns head coaching job and then got the job for the OC out in L.A. We had Dan O on last week, and he said the Chargers would be the spot he would pick if he was an offensive coordinator. What's your thoughts on Mike McDaniel to L.A.?
I think it's great. I think it's great from a fit standpoint. Obviously, you got Herbert out there, and there's so much you can do with that offense. If their offensive line gets healthy, they have untapped potential still. Obviously, everybody kind of expects them to be something better than what they have been recently, and I think this has a chance to help unlock that. But, I mean, from an entertainment standpoint, and like you guys are alluding to, everything that comes along with this, could we get Hard Knocks there tomorrow? Like the conversations, like the inside information, like that would just be glorious to see those guys interacting.
Well, Herb, too, and McDaniel. I mean, that relationship's going to be spectacular down there.
Oh, yeah. Dude, you're not kidding. He's going to have him jacked. He's going to be like, all right, we're going to get you jacked. McDaniel's going to come out next year just yoked up because of Herb.
There's a chance. And also out there in L.A., there'll probably be some sign. Shout out to McDaniel getting a chance just to go back to what he probably wants to do, which is just offense. But the way Harbaugh is going to describe McDaniel's brain and offense is going to be spectacular. Like, this was just the first thing I thought of, Wizard of Ball. He's going to be saying so many different things. He's going to refer to him as a little guy, which is so much.
Yeah, Poindexter maybe.
There's so many things he's just going to talk about. What if he walks into those off-white Air Forces with the tags on there? Jim just... This guy's got tags on his shoes.
Forgot to take the
So
tag off.
cool.
This guy, like, just everything Jim Harbaugh realizes about McDaniel is just going to be like an epiphany, seemingly. And then he's going to carry it right into the press. I was just outside. Guy got tags on his shoes, pants, shirt, and hat. I've never seen that. 4 tags. You ever had a guy with 4 tags still on his clothes? That's what we got around here. They're not franchise tags either. These things are forever, from what I've been told. It's not just 1-year deal. Like, just the thought of Harbaugh sitting with McDaniel and being like, this is the guy.
Imagine if he brings some Cuban coffee to him and he starts drinking the Cuban coffee, brings it over from Miami, and I'm like, wow, you guys ever had this stuff? This is great.
He said it was
I like this.
Cafecito, he said. Cito. Yeah, absolutely. Like, there's just so many opportunities, especially if they're good, okay? Need them to be good. If they're ass.
Yeah. If they're ass, Harbaugh is going to be beating the shit out of him by about week 12.
Take the tags off your shoes.
Yeah, or he's just going to
Put some regular khakis on.
Yeah.
Put some khakis on.
Okay? We're not wearing, what do you call them, jogger? I'm a runner, okay? You put your runners on. Take your joggers off. Like, there is that also possible outcome. Whenever MCDC said it wasn't a good fit, right? Allegedly, that's what we're hearing for Detroit with McDaniel?
Correct.
That was fascinating for us because of all the weapons that Detroit has. Almost feels like a better suit for McDaniel in his offense. A lot more speed, seemingly. A lot more weapons, a lot more options. So for Los Angeles Chargers to be the ones that are like, yeah, we want him, I'm pumped up for it.
I mean, did you see him dripped out in the airport? Like, I feel like that outfit alone, I think he had a Bottega leather tie on, which is, like, I think walking into the Lions building with that on alone might have been like, all right, I don't know if this is the fit for the Grit organization.
LA, though.
I'll tell
He
you.
had the 2 Bottega bags on top of each other, fitted out. He had those headphones that nobody else has. They're from, like, they look like they're old, but they also look like they're from the future. You can't really tell. Yeah. I mean,
Good fit.
just look at that.
Him walking into MCDC's office. Coach, what it do?
Yeah.
Get out.
Hey, it's all about the right fit. That's what we've been saying this whole time.
Exactly.
It's all about the right fit. Now, there was a fit in Cleveland that was seemingly out of sorts, even though they went to a playoff game and won playoff game. Go ahead, Ty.
Yeah, Jage, what's your take on the whole Baker-Kevin Stefanski situation? Everyone kind of knew about
Love
this. Okay,
Yep.
there we go. So, yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I feel like everyone did know about this when it first happened, but now we're just kind of getting more information about how this shook out, and now Bake gets to play him 2 times a year. And I'm guessing you never had anything like this because you're going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like
He fist fought a coach in practice.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I mean, like
no denial right there. We still have yet to get the full story.
I know.
We're beyond that. We're years beyond that.
No, but just what is your take on this whole
story.
situation as we get more information coming out?
I absolutely love this. The Ben Johnson thing with the Packers, anything where there's like legit, real animosity and it's being like, this is the National Football League. This is sports. It's supposed to be competitive. You're not supposed to like each other. We're not all supposed to be friends at the end of the day. Like, this is awesome. And this is going to create some great television in this fall when they play each other twice this year. Like, this is what it should all be. And I like that we're kind of swinging this pendulum back a little bit to some of this hatred, to some of this animosity where people don't like each other. Like, we have the jersey swaps. We have all the pictures on the field after the game. We all have friends on other teams because everybody trains together. But there is nothing better when 2 teams absolutely hate each other, and it's like a deep down actual hatred, and you can see it play out on the field. Can't wait to watch it.
I like that it's getting public. That's what you're talking about with the pendulum swinging. Like, I like that we know that there's dislike, that there's disinterest, that there's distaste for each other. I appreciate the Ben Johnson, Matt LaFleur stuff. I love that the whole entire McVay family tree thought to themselves, this guy's attacking all of us. He's not just chopping down one branch. Yeah. He's attacking the whole tree here whenever he's doing that to LaFleur. Publicly, this is all coming out. It's like, yes, yes. And then for this particular situation, I don't know if we ever heard from Baker, right, on it?
No, not really.
I don't think we ever heard from Baker on it. And I don't think we ever heard directly from Stefanski on it other than what his actions were. Last game, Baker Mayfield was there. He had a, torn labrum and a fractured left shoulder.
Correct.
Both of them in his left hand, or his left arm. And Stefanski went out there against the Pittsburgh Steelers, had him throw the ball 60 times. How many times? Exactly 38 times, okay? Had him throw 38 times. And in the game, he got sacked 9 times. So you're talking about boom, boom, boom. Chubb, best running back maybe in the game, off the field, playing against a team that has a great defense regardless. So it was like, Stefanski's trying to kill this guy. That's what we were thinking while we're watching the game live in real time without even knowing what was about to happen, where they basically run him out. Then there's shit behind the scenes happening with, Odell Beckham Jr.'s dad cutting up videos, and then nobody really from Cleveland saying, we want to keep him around here, even though he's making commercials in a stadium saying it was his house. It was like very ugly. It was very Cleveland Brownie if you're from Pittsburgh. It's like, Cleveland Browns are doing everything that the Cleveland Browns would do. This is the first time we've really heard Baker come out and say, yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him. It's like, all right, now we understand exactly what the situation was over there. I think Baker has come out, though, and said that he's matured a lot since that time until what he's become now, both at Carolina, out at L.A. He's got a chance to kind of learn and have a different perspective and all that as he was growing through it. But, yeah, it sounds like Stefanski and he did not get along at all, Tysh.
No, not at all. And, now you're kind of starting to get the thing, too, where people who are either were in the building with the Browns or taking Stefanski's side and kind of saying Baker was a prick to, support staff and people who work there and all that kind of stuff. And like you mentioned, that is when Baker was kind of like, hey, I had to kind of go through all that stuff to mature and become a better pro. And, I don't know. I love it, too. Like, anytime a player hates another coach because everything is so either no comment or I got so much respect for this guy. Like, it's refreshing when a starting quarterback in the NFL will come out and be like, his ass.
Yeah. I got shipped off like a piece of garbage, he said. Sorry about that.
No, my bad. Just to add to the rivalries as we're going through them all, Liam Cohen and Bob Saleh twice a year now because of that whole entire feud after the Niners game. We're
keep my name out your mouth.
Yeah.
That's going to be incredible.
I hope they keep it going. I hope they don't that's old news. It's squashed. I hope they're like, nope, yep, now he's got to see me twice a year. That would be awesome.
Oh, we're in a little different positions now, aren't we? Jacksonville Jags, king of the castle. What are you, Saleh? Oh, you're in Tennessee Titan land. Okay. Good luck over there, buddy.
Did Saleh say, like, too? Like, that little exchange there, I'm pretty sure that was his verbiage. Yeah.
And
I think
we put a tail of the tape up, and we had Liam Cohen's height wrong, and he said, when he came on the show later, you guys are trying to make me look bad on the tail of the tape. It's like, no, I thought we put a lot of respect into that tail of the tape, just in case you two were actually going to brawl, which we were maybe getting to the point where these coaches are actually going to fight. And I like if the family trees are going to start taking offense to other family trees, because then the leader of the trees are going to have a meeting.
Yeah.
At some point, and kind of say, hey, this is the territory, this is what we need to do. Here's that you can't be doing this, you can't be doing that. And then you got to go tell your capo, which then goes and tells everybody down the line.
You can whack this guy, and then we'll whack that guy.
You can't whack this guy. This guy good, this guy not good. Can't do it. They're going to have a meeting of the minds here, and 6'1" versus 6'4", 220 versus 250 is a little bit, that's potentially problematic. Now, with that being said, head coaching records, if it comes down to that, Liam Cohen's going to be in a good spot. This was at the very beginning, obviously, 3-1-0. He's continued to win.
I was trying to figure it out. I was very confused there for a second.
This was the tail of the tape that we put out. It has not been updated. We did not expect to bring it back up in this exact moment. Good find back there.
Through like a gym routine and like nutrition and stuff, and then Cohen he switched it to the afternoon because he was working in the morning, but he worked out all year long, and I think he said he's down 40 pounds.
God damn.
dog.
Saleh, I don't know, bro. You're coming into a different AFC South jungle down there in Duval.
Saleh is a brick shit house.
Yeah, and his head.
Yes.
He's done it.
Also got a number one quarterback. I mean, if you're looking at last year's, again, we go back to that last year's, you had Lawrence, you had Caleb Williams, and you had Drake May, top 3 picks. Saleh's now working with the number 1 overall pick. Those guys were able to turn things around unbelievably quickly with those You got to turn things around quickly in this world.
I like Cam. We've gotten a chance to chat with him a couple times because he's come to the Miami games. Looks like he's excited, bought in, just ready to play ball, basically. Feels like he's just out.
It's all going to come down to the OC there. I mean, he's got to get a great OC. Like, if you're going to go defensive coach, which I don't hate, obviously. I mean, I think they're trying to set a culture, but you have to get Cam Ward a great offensive coordinator.
If we go back to Hard Knocks with Saleh's entire thing is like his defense was great, the offense was ass, right? And then I think the Hard Knocks, he actually finally just said it. Hey, we're going to be good on the defensive side. You guys, right up there, just got to circle the offensive line in particular. You guys are going to decide whether or not we're worth a shit this year. So could you please? Now, let me tell you a story about an eagle and a crow. Okay, and then he did the entire thing, read it a couple lines, and then got up to where the eagle can soar and the crow can't. That was gone. That's what I remember from his opening team meeting.
It's like the Vince Vaughn, John Favreau clip where he's like, nobody's pointing fingers at anybody. You're a problem. You're a problem.
Sorry. I like that he was that blunt about it. And at that stage of his head coaching career, it was pretty obvious. Like, hey, if this group right here could do anything, I didn't draft him. I didn't get to pay him. I am the head coach here. Our defense is going to have our shit right. If you big guys.
You can say it.
He wanted to say
Yeah.
He did not, though. He was straight. You big guys can get it together. We might have a good team here. Like, that would be great if we were able to do that. He probably learned from that the first time around.
Oh, yeah.
I assume that is going to be main focus for this second time around. My brain, what I am good at, we are going to have a good defense. We have to have the offense figured out, I assume is what he's
Yeah, now he doesn't have the same talent, I would say, that he had on that Jets defense with Tennessee right now. Up front, you obviously have Simmons, and that's a great piece to build around. You got some other pieces that haven't quite worked out that they brought over, but you assume that he has a good evaluation of defenders. And then him coming from, he was in Shanahan's tree earlier, so hopefully he has another offensive mind, maybe a guy we know, maybe a guy we don't know that he does bring over and kind of bring the best out of Cam Ward. We saw a flash from Cam Ward, and like JJ said, you get a great offensive mind around him, obviously pieces. Cam Ward could be one of the best quarterbacks in the league, we think.
Think back to C.J. Stroud's rookie year. Offensive coordinator was Bobby Slowick. They get rid of him. He goes to Miami. He's without a job. This makes all the sense in the world to go get him right now.
Okay, so Slowick goes down to Tennessee. Don't love that. Back in the AFC South causing us problems. The Titans currently right now, if you were to look at their win-loss record since Vrabel, they're the worst.
Oh.
Yeah, they're the worst in everything. They're just the worst and everything since kicking Vrabel out of town. And Vrabel's now in the AFC Championship.
How's he doing?
Yeah. Pretty freaking good.
Get him out of there. All right, last question here for you, Jage. Big topic of discussion around the NFL, and it will be for the entirety of the offseason, it feels like. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Jage, Bob Kraft was on WEEI Afternoons, and he basically said, hey, the NFL has 3 priorities right now, one of them being an 18-game season, moving the preseason to 2 games, and then also an international game for every single team every year. What do you think specifically about the 18 games? It feels like we've talked about this for years, basically since the 17 games became a thing, but do you think they also have to change, bye weeks? What are kind of some of the things you expect to see once that 18 games is implemented?
I don't know if we have enough time between now and getting off the air on ESPN to go through all of this, but
you got 3 minutes, okay?
The value of the 17th game was never given back to the players in the proper manner, and that's because of, we all know, Pat, especially D-Butt, like the guys at AQ that know the CBA negotiations, everything, you have to fight for what this is worth. Do not give this 18th game up for less than it is actually worth. And unfortunately, that's just looking forward, the way that it's all going to shake out. They're going to give a second bye week. They're going to take away preseason. A preseason game to an 18th game is not even remotely close to the same thing. A preseason game, nowadays, people don't even play in them at all. So now you're taking 0 plays and you're replacing it with 65 plays of the highest intensity, most difficult.
Oh, no, they're throwing him.
Yeah, they're throwing him.
Did I freeze? Did I freeze?
Yeah, Roger.
Somebody's trying to silence me.
Yep.
Who's doing it? Who's doing it?
It could be
Is it
Goodell.
you?
Could have been Kraft.
Are you now in their pocket? Are you now in their pocket?
I'm on your I was giving you a whole floor. I said you had 3 minutes. Do your thing, please.
They're gonna try and get you with a second bye week. No shit. If you play 18 games, yeah, you better have a second bye week. That shouldn't even be. Don't let them use that as a negotiating tool. That's a non-starter. It needs to be financially equivalent to what it's worth to you. It wasn't the same for going from 16 to 17. You have to find a way to make it right going from 17 to 18. The players get screwed in every single CBA argument and negotiation ever, have one of the worst. Figure it out.
Yeah, well, the good news is the last NFLPA president was really using his time efficiently. That was what we learned. 1961 through 1977, it was 14 games, 6 preseason games. So it had 20 games there. Then it went 16-4. Now it's 17-3. 18-2 is probably what's next. I asked Roger Goodell about that at the draft, and for you, it's a funny thing that they are trying to make that an argument. And he was like, I think I speak for everybody. We'd much rather have a regular season game than another preseason game, right? It's like, yes, certainly. In the negotiation, who knows if it'll be treated the same. And you talk about players losing all the time. I agree. I think they're bad negotiators in there. But I want to let you know, whenever we get an extra guaranteed cold tub in every building for that 18th game, people's knees are going to feel better.
That's what I'm
saying. 2 at a time. 2 at a time. It's going to happen. Jay, you're the man. Why don't you go be the president of the NFLPA?
Ooh.
Well, there were many deep discussions had during the last CBA, and I understand completely the issue at hand with why it's difficult to get every NFL player on the same page because of the length of contracts, because of who's been in for long enough, who understands the dynamics of it all. It's very difficult. You know who also knows that? The owners, which is why they win every single negotiation ever.
30 billionaires and their lawyers negotiating against you is going to be tough. You got to stand on business.
That's right.
And JJ would do that. That's why he's future first ballot Hall of Famer. We're back on the other side. Be a friend, tell a friend something nice.